Today I'm going to attempt to run a ridiculously large game for TurboGrafx CD. It's 326 megabytes. It's a 4-in-1 Super CD. It has some of the best games that were released on TurboGrafx 16 as well as CD. You know, Gate of Thunder is an exceptional game, a must-play game with a great soundtrack. And I want to play the full version today. So, one of the first things I do, if I have, say, a bunch of games selected, I back up my configuration. So I made a backup folder within the hacksheet directory, and then within that I made another set of directories for anything that I changed to. So right here I'm copying and pasting my config, going into the backup, and I already did this earlier because I'm working on my 5,000 game build, and I just went in here and copied the config over. So when I'm done, I can just copy that config folder right back, and I'm back where I left off basically. But as of right now, I'm trying to get this ridiculously large game on there, and I'm not going to have enough memory for it unless I do a few things. So one of the first things I need to do is I'm just going to power on the mini NES, make sure the red light's on, wait a few seconds for Clover Shell to click in, then I'm going to see what modules I have installed, and I'm going to want to uninstall everything because I want to have the absolute bare minimum. And I revised my core set and my BIOS set to be able to adjust accordingly for this type of scenario where you want to run a bigger game. Now, everybody knows how you do FEL recovery mode. You basically have to hold down, power and reset for multiple seconds. But all I do is just pretty much hold power and reset down at the same time, and I don't release them until I get the little ding on the computer. So I'm just holding power and reset down right now. And it's easy FEL mode. So I'm removing all these HMODs. In my new BIOS setup, I did the BIOS in such a way where we have the required BIOS for each system, and then we have the optional BIOS for each system. So I have a master BIOS set with the new Neo Geo BIOS that also has the optional BIOS for other systems like Sega CD, Sega Saturn, Atari 7800, etc. Then I have the ones that are absolutely required like MSX, 3DO, and so on. And I have it all in the README files when you open up Hacksheet here. But you have multiple ways of doing the BIOS now to compensate for wanting to run larger games. So now that those are all uninstalled, the next thing I'm going to have to do is just install only the modules that I need. So I'm going to obviously need RetroArch, and I have two versions of RetroArch. I have the standard version, then I have the extreme version with the over 500 filters that I added. All I want is the standard version. Then I'm going to obviously need the PCE Fast, which runs TurboGrafx CD. Then I'm going to go to my new BIOS set that I put together. And I'm not going to do the master BIOS module in this case because it's such a large game. But I'm going to do the PCE Fast, and I'm going to do only the required system cards that I need to run this. So I have RetroArch, PCE Fast, and the system cards I need to run this one game. And I'm going to install those. Doing the same thing, just going to hold power and reset down at the same time, and not release till I get my little ding on the computer. Nice and easy. And there's a couple more things you could do to get even more memory, and I'm going to do this. We have two ways of clearing out the save states. And I'm going to show you it on here as well as on the system. I'm going to use Save State Manager to clear them out here. So I'm going to open up Save State Manager under Tools. And I just have to power on the system so it has the red light on and goes into Clover Shell mode. And this is the way that you could clear save states when you're tethered to a computer, but you could do it through the system itself, and I will do that as well. But it's pulling up all the save states that are on there. And I'm just going to wipe them all out because I do not need any of them. I've gotten some pretty massive games to run in the past. So I'm just going to get rid of all of these. Now that those are all accounted for, I'm going to close Save State Manager. And I'm going to disable pages and folders because I'm running one game. I'm just going to have it in its own directory on the main GUI. That'll avoid me using the artwork that I have for my folder management, and that'll give me even more space. So I disabled that. Now I'm going to close Hackshi and reopen it to make sure I have a proper read. Okay, I have 326 out of 332. Now I'm going to sync that and let it go through. And where things get a little bit weird is I've used 2.14 and it only works on 64-bit systems, but I've been able to get even larger than 332. I've gotten them to be like 337 or so. So there's a slight differential in the RAM usage between 2.14 and 2.15, 2.16, 2.17 that gives you a few extra megabytes of game flashing ability, basically. But again, it only works with a 64-bit operating system. Now I'm kind of sticking to games that are 330 megabytes or smaller just to avoid this issue. But if you use the tricks that I just did, you could flash these 330 megabyte games just fine. Now we're going to switch over to the system and see if this actually successfully transferred and I'm able to play it. And I'm going to show you the other way to clear save states as well. Now we have my one single game on there, and I'm going to go up to settings on here. And I'm going to click Reset to Factory Settings. This is how you clear the save states off of the system without using the computer. And it does no harm to your folder management or the games that you flash to the system. It just gets rid of your save states. So I'm wiping save states if I wouldn't have used the computer to do it. So before Save State Manager, this is how I used to wipe my save states. Save State Manager is nice, but a lot of people aren't going to always have access to a computer in Hackshi, so this is a good way to keep things in check. Okay, here's the moment of truth. I have not tested this out yet. Let's see if this game works. And I'm going to make sure that the BIOS are set up properly with the RetroArch settings, of course. I'm going to go to my quick menu, options, and I have my BIOS set to System Card 3, which runs 9 out of 10 games. Only that Game Express card is used for a few games in general. Okay, we're good to go. I'm going to exit back to the main GUI, because when you go into the RetroArch settings and start messing with the BIOS, you want to reload the game. So far, so good. Let's see if this game loads. We're going to play one of my favorite games of all time, Gate of Thunder. And there's a secret code you could input to get Bomberman as well. You could do up, right, down, left, and the number 2 button, which would be the A on the controller. This game has an epic soundtrack. And I did flash a 318 megabyte version of this as well, so Like I said, it has quite an epic soundtrack, as many TurboGrafx CD games have.